About 30 minutes ago, I received a call from an officer in Louisville Metro Police that said the police had been involved in a shooting. An officer had been shot, but thank God his vest stopped it. But then he told me who the shooter was. A guy named Herbert Lee. Herbert Lee in 2008 had stolen a car. He went by and he picked up 4 unsuspecting teens who had just gotten out of a church function. Good teens, not bad guys. Herbert Lee was a human piece of garbage, but these kids were good. He picked them up unsuspectingly and said, "Hey, I'll give you a ride." They jumped in. They go down the street. The police see the car. It's stolen. They try to light it up. He takes off. The police are blocks behind, quit chasing, but he kept driving like a fool. He smashed his car into a tree, ripped it in half. A little Honda, I remember it. I was about a block away when this happened. Me and my partner get there and we try to save these kids. I can still see it in my mind, man, the wreckage, the horror. Kids on the ground, kids trapped in the car. We pulled them out. We did CPR to no avail. All 4 of them died on scene. I went down to the hospital where I went back in the emergency room and Herbert Lee's sitting there on a stretcher in handcuffs. Got this smirk on his face. Barely injured, a little bitty cut on his nose. And I look at him and I'm like, "You just killed 4 kids, 4 innocent kids." He just laughed, nodded his head. It took everything in me not to go choke him, not to go take his life right there. I'm shaking right now. I'm so upset that this thug, this piece of crap is out walking the streets. He was released from prison, didn't change his ways, kept stealing cars, stealing guns, running from police, fighting. Continuous felonies over and over and over, multiple. The judges keep letting him out. Not held accountable. Our prosecutors cutting deals, letting him out. This guy should have already been rotting in prison for taking 4 innocent lives. So I walk back to the family's waiting room. I compose myself. I walk in to check on them. The father of 3 of the boys, 3 of them, comes up, grabs my vest with both hands. And he said, "Are my boys alive or are my boys dead?" Now, granted, this is just a couple weeks before Christmas. I look at him, my head drops, and I say, "I'm sorry." I said, a pastor will be in a minute. He knew what that meant. He screamed and cried. I remember it. It's embedded in my head. He said he had just bought all his boys Christmas gifts. I didn't talk to the other father that day. I believe he was there. But about 3 years later, I'm at our state fair working. I go to the police parking lot, and I get into this conversation with the attendant, the guy who's blocking it. And we're talking, and he mentions the fact that he had lost his son. And I said, "How'd you lose your son?" And he tells me he was one of the kids in this car wreck that happened in 2008. Small world, man. I told him I was one of the officers on scene and we did everything we could to save his son. We talked, we had tears. But these guys got no recourse for this. They got no justice for this. These judges just keep letting people out over and over. Tonight, Herbert Lee shoots a cop and gets shot back. And what does the community instantly do? Start putting out tweets that the police killed an unarmed man. Foolishness, man. Foolishness. This world's upside down. Enough is enough. When are we going to change things? When are we going to get this thing turned around? The police aren't the bad guys. Sure, there's bad cops, but the police aren't it. Judges and DAs need to be held accountable. Thank God the officer's going to be okay. I just pray that our city gets turned around. I pray our country gets turned around. It's up to us as citizens. I'm no longer a cop. I can't help. But I can push the truth out. I can try to help the officers that are still on the street. You can help. Hold your DAs and your judges responsible. Find out their track record. Vote them out. We need change in America. God is our hope. We need to get back to Him.